YouTube, welcome back. I've got three playstyles for season 13 that I came up with over a course of period of time, and this is what's optimal for me. And we're going to go over the key differences so that you can know when to pick out of the three. Now, even though I'm doing this is from my environment, my solo queue environment. So it might not be the same to yours, and I don't know if you can fully replicate it. But if you have similar environment to mine, then this might even help you. But without further ado, let's go into the key differences right now with the rune page. So we have Forbidden Velocity, Forbidden Combatant, and Forbidden Tryhard. I know Split Hard is in the end, but we'll explain that a little later. For now, let's talk about Forbidden Velocity. This is mainly just to move as fast as possible and reach the champions that are just out of reach because of how fast you're moving. It's going to feature Stride Breaker, so movement speed is king. And I like this. It's really good in terms of like getting places and moving quick. So don't ever sleep on this one. This one is good for the movement speed. Now, one thing I'd say it struggles with is, I guess, a little bit of HP, because instead of going Sterix Gauge, you're going Maw. But it still gives you more magic resist, or it's a trade. But Cleaver doesn't actually come all that early. It comes very late, if it even comes. So I guess tanks might not be the best matchup for you with this playstyle. But no one really picks tanks like that, so you don't. So this is still somewhat useful. Like, say for example, you're facing Jace and stuff like that. This is probably the choice you want to get. Forbidden Combatant and Forbidden Tryhard actually share the same goal, and that's to do as much damage as possible. Now, the key difference between the two is Forbidden Tryhard, it doesn't have an efficient way of including Cleaver so that you can deal with tanks that well. Because when you get Trinity Force, immediately you're thinking Death's Dance, Sterix Gauge, and then Force of Nature, and then it's way too late to be getting Cleaver, you know? And instead of getting Cleaver, you'd be getting Stoneplate. So, uh, that's Forbidden Tryhard. What about Forbidden Combatant? Forbidden Combatant, it facilitates your way of getting Cleaver, because Cleaver can actually be included, and it doesn't even hurt you that much, because you're going into Cleaver with Shield Bow, and you combine them two. But you don't even have to go Cleaver. You can even go Spear of Shojin, and you can really play on that low HP, dangerous playstyle that this really facilitates. So there's the difference. One facilitates Cleaver, the other not really so much. It just wants to go into that Sterix Gauge Trinity Force combination and be strong that way, which is still strong. It's just, if you ever have to deal with tanks, you're gonna struggle a little bit, because where's the armor penetration coming from? There is none, right? But I say there's another sub reason for picking combatant over tryhard, or vice versa. If you don't like the Sheen proc, you don't like how it works, you're not really into that, you don't like Trinity Force that much, you have a problem with its attack speed or something like that, that's also another reason why you could go Forbidden Combatant, because you can still have the same, or should I say similar results when fighting champions and doing that without having to deal with timing your Sheen procs and stuff like that. But that's if you don't like Trinity Force as an item. That's when it also becomes an option. And I guess last but not least, this overall will do more damage because it has the higher AD in the build. Because Shield Bow with the shield procking, and you get items like Cleaver 50 AD, Spear of Shojin 65 AD. We're talking high AD we're gonna be ulting them for a lot of their health bars. So those are the three things it has on Trinity Force. Problem is Trinity Force still has a good amount of HP over it, and it still has the Sheen passive that, if used correctly, it's a very potent item. So those are the key differences between the two, and you pick which one you want. Obviously, this is obviously taking the meta choice anyway. It's more people are gonna pick Forbidden Tryhard over combatant because it's more meta anyway. Now, Forbidden Split Hard, this is literally just for me. In this solo queue environment for me, I have to spend a lot of time kind of abandoned by my jungler, so I have to get an item called Hull Breaker. And we're focusing mainly on split pushing and stuff like that. So that's what this playstyle is mostly for. But other than that, let's go into the item build. So the mythics for the season, we have Trinity Force Stridebreaker, and Shield Bow. I know you're thinking, where's Divine Sunderer, where's Duskblade and all these other fancy items? Their strength does not compare to these three, so I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to leave them out because these three are the strongest and most efficient for me anyway. Now the first is obviously Forbidden Tryhard. As you can see, it has everything you want: the magic resist, the armor, and the damage, especially the Sheen damage and everything. This is really good, that everything pairing together for a very efficient playstyle. You will be hitting towers really well, and you'll be hitting champions just as well too. However, you're definitely going to struggle against tanks or anyone with even a bit of armor. So don't so just know that it has its strength and it also has its weaknesses, as with all the other items. This one, Stridebreaker, Forbidden Velocity, you are going to be catching those champions that are a little bit harder to catch because of the movement speed that you're working with. Now, that is really good. I like it, but as you can tell, Cleaver is missing. Unless you want to get it before you get Mortius, sure, but then you're going to be kind of lower on magic resist. If you want that to even happen, you do you, man. But overall, it is good. I just think you might struggle with tanks a little bit. That's my only thing I can see with this being not the choice. And last but not least, Forbidden Combatant with the Shield Bow, you have the option of going Cleaver. Could even be first. You can swap the Shield Bow with the Cleaver and swap them too in that order if you want. If the game looks that way. You also have the option of going Shojin to fully play on that low HP type of playstyle, because that's really, it makes you a really dangerous champion when you get low. It's really good for dealing with both squishies and the tanks as well, because of all the AD you're working with, and the armor penetration, which is the main takeaway from that versus Tri-Gauge, right? And not only that, but the R damage, it is slightly stronger than Tri-Gauge as well. It's just this definitely has more HP. So you pick between the two, and you make your decision. But other than that, with these three playstyles, I know there's only 4 items, but I want you to get into the idea that most game ends at 4 items, so you're really looking at 4 items, not 6. Don't do that. I made that mistake. I'm not making that mistake again. So we're looking at core items and trying to finish those as fast as possible, and being as strong as and that's where you need to see your strength at 4 items for the final team fight and end the game. That's what we're looking at, not 6 items. We're not Kale. Don't even try. So with that being said, thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed these playstyles explanations, and have a nice day. Check my links in the description below, and peace late.
Nothing but death.